on this next video, I'll show you guys how I went about replacing the lower deck filler panels and relocating the trunk hinges. I did have a intro video previously on this, but I accidentally deleted it when I was making room on my SD card. Oops. So yeah, enjoy. Yeah, you can see some of the holes there, rust hole, there. Yeah, there you go. You can see where the light's shining through. My markings for how far it's back from the roof line. There you go. All right, put it back on the camera, back on the tripod, and then I'll start drilling all these, well, spot welds that I happen to see out. Enjoy. There we go. So that's where all the spot welds are at. Apparently I got some welding and grinding to do underneath there. And you see where all that, when I had the car media blasted with the dustless blasting, how the shit gets pretty much everywhere in there. And underneath here, there are 4 little spot welds underneath of this. So I'm going to see if we get my big butt up underneath there again and put the light up underneath and give that a whirl, see if we can pop these guys off. And then at least put the panel in there and see if it fits. That'll be a good start. And then I'll fix, you know, where I drill through, where I rip that little corner out, and back up in there where I kind of mangled out with the panel splitter. After much progress, there we go. I think I'm going to turn off the camera, and remember you guys don't really need to see me clean this up. Brought up a few areas that I messed up, and give it a quick once over with the Scotch-Brite pad just to clean up all the media from the dustless blasting, and then I'll turn the camera back on and fit that in there. And after cleaning everything up, grinding some stuff down, it's time to go by and weld over the holes, grind them smooth, put some copper backing behind there, and have at it. Yeah, let's record it just because give me some more content. After some welding, grinding, and filling the holes, and a little bit clean with spray away glass cleaner, time to fit the panel in there and see how it works, or how it looks. There we go. Alright, grab my black Sharpie here, and I'm just going to lay out a couple holes. So we can talk about here, here, do one here, here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there. And I'm trying not to hit the same spot where I was welding at before. It's probably going to happen, but all right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 holes. Sweet. Now I know where every single hole is going to go. Time to clean the paint off of the backside here to burr these holes real quick. Let's just some 120 grit on the Daco. Keep saying Daco on a grinder. And then copper weld through and paint it. So there we go. Everything's all copper weld through primed, and yeah, I'm gonna put some they said Eastwood's rust encapsulator up in here. I'm just gonna brush it on. I should spray it because it make it look nice and pretty, but at the same time I really don't care in this area. So I'm gonna be brushed, get up in here pretty good, and then this one's gonna run a single brush stroke or two to cover this area up in here, because the deck floor panel curls up underneath there. So, all right, it's going a lot easier than I thought it was going to. The part, surprisingly, that part fit decently from AMD. I don't have to tweak it. Like every panel, I had to tweak. Trunk floor, a little bit manipulating. Tail panels gonna need tweaking. Tail drop-offs, trunk pan drop-offs need tweaking. The outer row houses need a little tweaking. And the other thing that really didn't need tweaking, was surprising, was the floor pan. Go figure. That pretty much dropped right in place. But again, good measuring, and nailing the measurements exact to where the original floor pan was. And the inner outer rockers weren't too bad either. The inner rockers, you can manipulate them into any which way you want to. So yeah, let me get my paintbrushes, that little cheap ass chip brushes I got from Harbor Freight, and we'll get to painting. There we go. Everything's painted, copper weld through, and ready to get welded on. It won't happen today, unfortunately, because you gotta let this stuff dry and takes a, I don't know, day or so. I mean, it's for November, it's 75 degrees out, and I'm not complaining. But tomorrow it's supposed to be like 50 for the high, which is fine. So that means I get to do, once you're done today, wash the cars. Alright, next time around I'll be probably welding this bad boy on very shortly. Now that the paint's dry, let it sit overnight, harden up. Best it's gonna get. You know, it's still gonna cure in the next couple days because it's kind of cool out now. Alright, so time to get the Clecos thing back on, clamp it into place. I got the nozzle out for the panel bond. From the factory they had some foaming adhesive down in here. There, and I'm gonna run a small bead down along in here. Yeah, down along the bottom here. Just to give a little bit of added strength along with the weld, because that's what the factory had, a little bit there. And honestly, I have this stuff, let's use it. So let's get that going, and then I'll clamp and Cleco it back in place and weld her in. This is pretty good with that tip in there. Mixes it like a million times. I'm just going to put a small bead, use the paintbrush or an acid brush I have, just to brush it in there. Same thing all up in here. Just get a little bit more strength. everything's clamped up. I got a little spot welder from Harbor Freight. It kind of sucks, but does its job. Yeah, I'm gonna go spot weld all this stuff down in. Down in this lip here because, well, I think it'd be easier. And it is what it is. All right, enjoy the time lapse. Alright, as you saw, I had a little bit of trouble with the spot welder hitting the edges here, so I ended up grinding the tip down a little bit to make it a little thinner and fit down in there, and it worked fairly well. One thing I recommend is actually welding that while the panel bond's down there. Stuff staying inside, open the door, get the air moving through here. Luckily, it's a windy day. Alright, time to do the 1/4" drill bit trick. Start one on these holes and then grind it smooth up top here. Or actually, I'll weld these first and then work on flipping these over and getting these their structure welded to the lower deck filler. All right, let's do it. Yay, it's welded in. Almost. Still gotta weld this stuff in. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Saw a bunch of welds. Yeah, it's time to hammer this stuff. Get rid of that grease and air that I put in there by accident. Actually, just it is what it is. Clamp it over and then weld these guys in. Yeah, that's pretty much next. Alright, so cool. More time-lapse stuff. I mean, hey, if you guys want me to slow down and you can watch it second by second in real time, I can do it. Rather not, because like I said, I have a attention span of a gnat. So usually when I like watching people do this kind of stuff, it's like, all right, cool, explain what you're doing, and just let me, cruise through it. But that's what I'm gonna do is gonna clamp this down, take some hammer, see if I get my dolly right to here, get that grease out. And this looks like dog shit from the panel splitter and the spot weld cutter. But like with enough zaps with the tacks, from the MIG welder, you should be able to fill that in and grind it smooth, and almost make it look like it didn't happen, almost. So yeah, I guess I'll get to doing that now. there we have it. Got it welded in. In case you wonder why I left it like the Cleco hole open there and there, so that's where I had the quarter panel located before. That way I know I can get it back to where I like it. Hopefully, we'll see. Like I said, it's the first time for me doing all this kind of work like this, but it's not too far out of my scope of reality from previous experience of working on aircraft. Believe it or not, this is actually harder for me because, at least with aircraft, the parts are made to a certain tolerance, like usually plus or minus 30 thousandths, depending on the sheet metal part. And I could get a part from 60 years ago that was made 60 years ago and put on an aircraft today. At least the ones that are still in service. Or even as 20 years ago, you still get a part and it'll plop right on. Unlike these things that were, like I said before, they were built in 4 hours, something like that. And just get into the jig, hammer it down, send it on its way. Anyways, enough rambling about that. Need to grind this stuff down smooth. Once I get that done, I'm gonna take the hinges off the pieces I cut off and locate those. For those who wonder why I didn't do it beforehand, I wanted this in place solidly. So I got something to drill up against too. Plus also, if we need to get to the backside, there's a lightning hole here. I can get up in there and to spray some the paint to get back up in there and make sure it's all nice and covered and I have to worry about it. So yeah, let's just get to grinding. Now here comes the tumultuous task of drilling out some spot welds. And that way I can get the hinges back in. So I took some measurements beforehand on these things, and they're 37 1/4 apart. I'm gonna leave them on there, locate them on the car, and then drill spot with the drill and then weld them on. Yeah. Nothing like with more drilling and welding, more drilling and welding, more drilling and welding. That's all good though. Gives me something to do and I'm out of the way here. Alright, I'm going to spot drill these with an 1/8 inch bit and then come back with various steps because my other spot welding cutter bit has ran out my last broaching bit. So after some careful measuring beforehand, took from the center line here, where this little bump out is, and same thing on the other side. I wrote down on the part, top part here is 37.25, and then on the hole here it's 37 1/16 for distance wise. The other thing I did was, on the old parts, I kind of figured out on here just by using, like, you know, the bottom of the radius was like a 1/2 inch up, the bottom of the radius, and over here is like 300 thousandths from the bottom up, and then I was able to clamp it into place. Same thing on the other side, and it roughly looks like it's about the same spot. Keep in mind, these holes are pretty huge for when the trunk bolts onto it. The trunk lid bolts on, bolts onto that. It's gonna fall. We got plenty of adjustment later on for it to move around. But yeah, so yeah, it looks pretty good actually. The only thing I might do is just knock this down a hair a little bit, and I think the other side looks pretty decent for the most part. It seems to fall where it needs to on the pad there. And yeah, drill it, screw it, and clean the paint off. Actually, I don't even need to clean the paint off underneath. Put some all-through primer on the one side here, and then paint these real quick, and I'll weld them up on probably tomorrow, so the paint has some time to dry overnight. So yeah, let's get to drill where these got to go, put some screws in it, and get the paint. Alright, we're going to give the trunk lid a shot. See if make sure it bolts back on. Hopefully it gets back into here. Really can't tell until I go actually put the quarters back on. So I may leave these screwed in till then. We'll see. So I went ahead and threw the quarter panels back on, the trunk lid, and actually, for the most part, went back in exactly where it needed to be. Yeah, so gaps look good. Can't really complain. I mean, hey, they're aftermarket panels. Still got to do a bunch of work down in here, but for as the trunk hinges goes, they're ready to be welded on. So yeah, I'm gonna pop them off. Actually, I'm gonna mark the hinges. Yeah, I'll do a scratch on the hinges, mark them for where the trunk lid goes, and then yeah, spray paint them and let them dry up overnight. All right, give this take the paint off of here, so it puts the weld through coating on it. I give the hinges a quick scuffing with some 80 grit. Spray the weld, what little bit left I got the copper weld through. Let that dry, and then I got some Eastwood's rust encapsulator, and I'll spray these with that. And that will be it for today. I'm going to take these guys off where the weld through is and give them a good coat of paint. Well, been a week since I've been working on this thing, and unfortunately, winter showed up. All the shit's finally good and dry, ready to do the drill out the holes here for welds, and a couple of tacks along the top and bottom where they are like the factory. Then put the lid back on and do the clip here for the torsion rods. So just continue on with it. Alright, now that's welded in. A little problem welding it. Ran out of wire, so I had to go and switch to my other roll, which was 030. You normally you've been using 023, 25 on this. And the 030 definitely deposits quite a bit more metal than what I'm used to. So yeah, time to go. We'll put the holes on the torsion rods. Take it off, measure out where it kind of goes. It looks like just by eyeball, it kind of goes in the middle here. But go measure that real quick. And lay it out in here, drill it off, and weld it on. As for welding it, all I'm going to do is take like eyeball where the little hump is here, and the little hump is here, go right to that, and just give me a rough idea, because I don't think it needs to be entirely exact, because they're just torsion rods. And actually these ones are strong, so I need to replace them anyway. So when the trunk lid was on there, just even that short spoiler, the early Z28 spoiler I think it is, yeah, it wasn't strong enough to keep the deck lid open, but once you took the spoiler off, it was strong enough. Because even though this car was an SS, it didn't come with a spoiler on it. It was added on at some point in the car's lifetime. But I like the short spoiler, and it's going to go back on. Whether it be the Anvil carbon one or the stock replacement, we'll see. The money allows. So alright, let's figure out how this is going to go. So this looks like it's going to be 2.1 inches over. Take a little dot. From there, looks like about 2.2. And then from the front here to there, yeah, from here to there, from the aft edge there up is about 800 thousandths. A couple dots there. Yeah, it looks pretty even. And then, that's it. About where it goes. Because it looks like it's a little off center to the passenger side of the car. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright, go drill that off and then weld it on there. So I went and drilled that off real quick. It's pretty easy. Two little spot welds, about 5/16 of an inch. Same deal as before, clean up, bolt the copper weld through. Put that bad boy there. Put a little cell tapper in there, weld. There you go. So yep, there we go, some more quick YouTube music and speed through stuff. Enjoy. Cleco this guy on. Got enough area to clamp it there. Looks pretty square. It's about right where we measured it. All right, we get at least something of a clamp on it. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. There it is, loosely installed loosely installed torsion rods. I mean, I know they were a pain in the ass. I just wanted to see if make sure they still fit, and everything looks like they line up pretty good. I don't have them hooked in back where they belong. And I just kind of threw them to make sure they still fit. Look pretty good. And there's that guy. The filler panel in the back. All right. Last thing to do is do the well, not last thing to do. Second to last thing to do is to grind down the welds here a little bit to make them look pretty, and then throw the trunk back on to make sure everything still pins in and do what's supposed to do. Alright, more YouTube, quick speed, and cheesy music. So what I did was get that in there, some of the older 2-inch and 3-inch, actually 2-inch grinding disc from 3M. Probably just the outside edges get worn real quick. And took my little Harbor Freight panel splitter, grinded down as much as I could, razor blade with the 3/4 inch adapter, and helps you get down in there after I grind it all down with the die grinder. So yeah, to help the bit get down in there. So that's good as gonna get till I go start doing the paint and primer. It's even still just like a little bit of grinding marks. Starts 80 grit. The epoxy primer will fill most of that in, and the primer surfacer will finish off that rest. So I'll move the camera back a little bit, throw the trunk on, and let's see how it fits. Alright, looks like everything lined up to where it was before. Center line marks in the back of the trunk here lined up. That's all centered, but looks what it's supposed to. Cool. Yeah, so the one thing about these pins, they go through the trunk hinges here. They're D-shaped, so that's why I was trying to line them up. The flat side goes towards the back. So cool. Short from putting on the torsion rods, that's it for the lower deck filler panel and trunk hinge replacement. So yeah, the next couple videos are probably going to be me fitting the quarters to the car. Passenger side's pretty much there because I had it off about 100 times already, easily. Checking the wheel well, make sure that fit right. Yeah, trunk drop off. And there was a piece on the rear cross member. It's called the rear cross member extension. That was a pan on this side. Yeah, the next couple of videos you see that because I'll try to fit the passenger side on camera. Driver's side I did on my own, just so I could figure it out. There's a lot of little hammer dialing, grinding, and smacking around to get the metal to move to match the contour of the rear cross member from AMD. Alright, thanks for watching, thanks for liking and subscribing, thanks for commenting and all that fun stuff. I try my best to do better with the videography and slowing down speaking. Can't help it, it's just ADHD is what it is. Been dealing with it for 40 some years now. Alright guys, thanks for watching, appreciate it, next time.